So I just wanted to do a really quick review of three popular pens, just because I think there's some confusion out there, and I know I was confused before I had them. First of all, this is the Pilot G2. It's a really standard office pen, plus just a great everyday pen. I'm a huge fan of the G2, and I talk about it a whole lot, just because it is so good. These sell for about $2 each, maybe a little bit less, depending on how many you're buying. Really standard, retractable gel pen from Pilot. Works really well, super dependable. It's basically great under all circumstances. This is the Pilot G2 Pro. G2 Pro is billed as an upgrade to the standard G2. It's the Pro or professional model, and it's a little bit more money. This one sells for about $5. And I would say it is, in almost all ways, a worse version of the G2. Yeah, it's called the Pro, and it makes some changes, like it has a thicker button at the top and has a metal looking, I don't think it's actually metal, end, and it's a larger pen, so it's like wider. But it's just like, it's like a G2 that got attacked by bees or got inflated or something like that. I think it looks really bulky and sort of ungainly. It does not move to metal components, and I don't really see it as being an upgrade from the standard G2 as much as it is just a larger size. So if you want a kind of fatter pen or a wider diameter, a larger diameter pen, the G2 Pro is a fine way to go, but I wouldn't really call it or consider it to be an upgrade, even though it costs a little bit more. And this pen, as far as construction goes, it's pretty much the same. Same refill, plastic lower. Again, I don't believe this part to be metal. Up here, it's a plastic clip. This is all plastic up there, so it doesn't really drastically change anything from the standard G2. It's just a little bit larger and has metal looking pieces. If you want to actually get an upgrade, then you have the G2 Limited. And this pen is also a little bit confusing in its name because it is in no way a limited edition pen. These things are made by the millions, or at least by the tens of thousands, and they sell for about $10. So these aren't hard to find. They're not limited edition or anything like that. Even the different colorways, I don't think are in any way limited. This gray one I bought years ago, and it's still for sale right now. I bought this one, I will tell you, in checking, like, I don't know, but like 3-4 years ago at least, probably more. And the nice thing about this is that it upgrades to a metal body, a metal clip, metal button, and metal end piece. Even all the trim here is metal. So this marks a really significant change in the G2 design, even though it's fundamentally a very similar pen. So the downside of all that change is that it's a lot heavier. So now you're looking at a pen that's substantially different than the G2. This pen is really light and kind of just something you throw in your pocket and forget about. Whereas the G2 Limited, again, it's not like crazily heavy. It's not going to weigh you down, but it feels different than the standard G2. In fact, I don't really like writing with it as much. Obviously, it has a empty refill in it, so I've been using it a lot. And this isn't even the original one that came with it. You can see this is blue. This pen came with black, so I've used it a ton. I don't like it as much as the original. But as far as a $10 executive pen goes, this has what you would expect from that, which is an all metal build quality, nice metal clip, and like sort of upgraded or distinguished looks relative to the standard model. Also, it's worth noting that the design is sort of more in keeping with the original than the Pro is. And maybe that's just my opinion, but the design is sort of like an upgrade from the original, whereas the Pro, it just, again, it doesn't really upgrade at all. It just makes everything larger. Here you can see similar shaped clip, but metal. Similar shaped button, but metal. When you go to the Pro, you have okay, fine. The clip is a similar shape, but it's really kind of weird looking and wide. The button, again, weird looking and wide. These two maintain the same button. You move to the ends, nice, similar shape, very conical. This one, hey, it's weird and pointy and too long. So you're moving away from some of the core design features of the G2 completely inexplicably. The grip, all similar, all have a tendency to pick up dirt and grime, obviously. But once again, whereas these two are really similar in shape and size, this one's more tapered, which is nice. It just has more of a waist here relative to the thicker end. This one on the Pro, it's longer. It doesn't have as much of a taper compared to the Premium, or the Limited rather. And again, it's like too big and too long. So curious design choices on the Pro. I think the Pro is kind of like the US release, and it's kind of mass market and kind of aimed at like the supermarket buyer or something like that. I really don't get how that pen was arrived at. But yeah, that's a quick rundown of the G2, the G2 Limited, and the G2 Pro. Thanks for watching.